Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much for being live with us. It's Monday, June the 19th, 8:34 p.m. I want to say to everyone, happy Juneteenth. Everybody watching, everybody listening, thank you so much for being live with us. We had I will say a hiccup against New England. I think Orlando didn't look like their usual self. Their winning streak was cut short by a very good New England team. We'll dissect what occurred. Personally, I think we missed a lot of players and we played a terrible pitch. And I know that's definitely not an excuse. I do want to say it's not an excuse. I think when you're a professional soccer player, you need to get used to playing any type of pitch. But having Gillette Stadium with grass, could have been easily, something could have been done. But then again, it's New England. New England was a better team. A lot of things did not work out, starting from the, left and right back positions, in my opinion. I think to me, the man of the match for Orlando was Mauricio Pereira. I think he had an okay game, in my opinion. We'll talk about Duncan Mcguire, who keeps scoring, the Helen of the Heartland. We'll also talk about what's coming up next for the Lions. We have Philly. We also have Seattle Sounders. And that and more. Thank you for joining. Drop us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I do want to say we're growing, and I want to thank you guys for your support. Click on the notification bell for notifications. Drop us a thumbs up. That makes us grow. Follow us on Twitter at LPO_podcast. Also on Instagram at LPO_podcast or Loud and Proud Orlando. And also on YouTube as Loud and Proud Orlando. Also, this episode will be on audio form on Spotify and Apple Podcasts right after. And again, the more you subscribe, the more you hit the notification bell, the more you'll see us live. Any video we upload, even if it's our post press conferences and things like that, trainings will be on there. So, John, how are you, my friend? What are your takes for this last game against the Revolution?
Hi, buddy. Not bad, It was a disappointing 3-1 loss,
Yeah,
but I was hopeful of like a 1-1 draw. And there was a moment in the game where it looked like
yeah.
maybe we could do a 1-1 draw. But it wasn't meant to be. So, lots of factors I think on this one. One, New England seemed to be a team that like we struggle against. I don't know, they're like a bogey team for us. I think this is between Bruce Arena and Oscar. It seems like Bruce is winning that battle, right? And then also the turf, like you mentioned, I think that really doesn't help us. Like the reason we're so good on the road usually is because the counterattack is fast, and we could not really build up a quick counterattack with that wet, heavy ball on turf. It just doesn't move that quickly. So that kind of inhibit us a little bit on the counterattack. Plus, we're missing some key players. And some of the players that got put in didn't really shine as a chance that they had. They didn't really grab an opportunity to shine with players missing. So I think all of those combination things kind of led to a 3-1, disappointing loss. But hey, we're not going to win them all. Away from home against the Revs, 3-1 is it's not acceptable, but it's not what we want, but I can't be too mad about it. It's not like we lost at home to Charlotte, right? That's a completely different kind of loss to a loss away to the Revs.
Why you're bringing that back, John?
Drink.
Jeez.
I'm gonna drink
I
the
just came
feel good
back
Kool
just
Aid.
to hear that. No, no, no.
Hey, look,
Let
it's
me
all
go back. Let
perspective,
me go back then.
There's different kinds of losses. That's what
No,
I
that's true. I'm
mean.
just bugging you, John.
What's up, Paula?
How's everybody? Sorry to join late to the party. Life happens. Traffic was horrible on the I-4. It was raining. But I'm back. I'm back. So happy to be here with everybody, even though with the loss, but it is what it is.
So, one thing that was clear to me was, and I think we said it in this show before, whenever Orlando is having a great a great game, it's because their backs are doing really good. Like the defensive, the four out back were on point. And I think, I don't know if it was the pitch. Holiday was fit, definitely. He did a lot of the wear and tear of that flank, but I just felt his crosses were very inefficient. That's just my opinion, and I think kind of felt that he just got back into the game in a way, back into playing again. So I kind of felt Kyle Smith was surely missed in this game as well. Rafael Santos couldn't get deep. Same with Angulo, couldn't do his own self because just the pitch was horrible. And on the other hand, this is a team that they know how to play in this turf. And I mean, in my opinion, the two backs that they have there, the Juan Jones and Bai, they had a phenomenal game, and they were the driving force in the attack for this New England team, in my opinion. I expected also, I don't know what you guys think, a little bit more about Martin Ojeda stepping up on Facu's shoes. I just felt he's definitely not Facundo Torres. And I don't know, it might have been the pitch, might have been that game in particular, but I kind of felt he was kind of wonky. Good game by Mauricio Pereira. I don't know, what are your thoughts from the get-go, John?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think anybody had a particularly great game, honestly with you. I mean, like, we're looking at there, and again, Foot Mob's ratings aren't always 100% accurate, right? It's just a guideline, but Mikey's getting the highest and Mauricio are getting the highest ratings, and I didn't really think they particularly had great games. So it's hard to pick out anybody and say they did really well, because
But Alpha had a great game too. But
I think Araujo though was doing all the work, right?
Yeah,
I think
that's right.
we missed Kyle Smith coming in as the inverted wing back, as you said, who gives that support and allows Araujo to go forward. So I think in this game, because with Holiday, it was more of like, Araujo, you're going to have to sit a bit deeper and do the dirty work. And I was hoping that Felipe would be right next to him doing that dirty work too. But I got to say, I was not very impressed with Felipe this game. He, when we signed him originally, I was really excited, and I was like, this is great. This is a great backup. This is a good, guy to bring in to kind of sort of fill the shoes of Urso, someone that we've seen around the league before be very, scrappy is the word I would use, right? He closes people down. He runs hard. He did it last season for Austin, but since he's put on Orlando City's jersey, I haven't really seen that Felipe for us. So this game for me, he was doing a lot of ball watching. He was doing a lot of jogging around. He wasn't being quick enough to close down the man. He wasn't closing down the ball. All the stuff that Wilder was doing and all the stuff that Kyle Smith does when he comes in, it was basically just Araujo doing all that. And that did not help us, because Carlos Gil and Gustavo Bo and, they got a lot, the way they play, they've got a lot of midfielders. So if we don't have our midfielders closing down theirs, it just got, Carlos Gil just did whatever he wanted, because Araujo was the only one really trying to stop him. And so it just looked very much like they dominated us in the midfield. And I was a little bit disappointed, even with guys like Angulo, who I don't think, particularly, he did some defensive work, but it wasn't, again, like his shining light. Santos, like you said, wasn't able to get forward and affect the game, putting in crosses like he did. Cara, for me, just didn't really do much at all. And I understand that people are like, oh, it's the kind of game for him and you got to feed him and all that stuff. But I don't see the effort that we saw in those 4 games where he did well. It looks again to me like the Cara that we saw at the beginning of the season, who doesn't want to run and close guys down. He doesn't want to run to make a run off the ball. He just seems to be quite happy to jog around in the box and maybe hope to get enough space to make a shot. But really, he's not generating anything. And I think that's not necessarily his fault. I think this game was better for Duncan because of the counterattack and the kind of striker that Cara is. So yes, you can kind of say, okay, we didn't give him the service, but also I think in a game like this, he has to try and create stuff as well. Like he has to try and, do a little bit more than just go and stand in the box and hope that the ball comes to him. And we saw in the second half when Duncan came on, that's what he did. And the game opened up and we had more options. So I think for me, those two, Felipe and Carr just, I did not have good games. And they're reflected by the fact that, on several different stats websites, they've got the lowest ratings of the two players.
Paula, what are your highs and lows of this game? I don't know if you saw the game, right?
I saw the game. I went to the watch party.
Oh, fantastic.
And Alec won the sign ball for the entire team. So woohoo!
Rigged.
We won something.
Someone rigged that. It's definitely rigged.
No, but going along the lines of John, Felipe remind me of when Pereira in the beginning of the season was playing that same position, something like that, right? He was not pressing us. If people were doubting Wilder, we cannot doubt any more Wilder. Like we can see that we miss Wilder Cartagena. See, right? So and definitely what I was criticizing our coaching staff was the subs. Like the only sub that they didn't miss was Duncan in the 48 minute or the 45, I don't remember.
Yeah, he came on at half.
On the half, but then they waited so much to take the others in the 75 or later. So I was like, why they're taking so long? They already put us like we were 2-1. Let's take out Felipe. I was commenting to Alec, I'm like, Felipe needs to get out. Like he needs to get out like now. Put Dagger Dan in or Juninho or somebody in from the bench. And then I know that Felipe wasn't the how do you call it, the second goal fault, but even though he was not doing anything, and I was like, the second goal, third goal or something.
I know it wasn't his fault too, but if you watch, that guy is what I call ball watching, right? So he's ball watching when there's a guy behind him. Everyone else is marking, the back line's marking. He needs to turn around and go, I need to mark the guy behind me, who was the guy who scored the goal.
So the only thing that I'm criticizing is the sub. Sometimes like the coaching staff was on point, going lately, the last 6 games, going on point, subbing each player at the right time. I don't know if the grass, the turf juju, or the ref. I don't know. Or go ahead, Luis.
I just feel that there's really no excuse. I mean, and yes, the turf is important. I just think our left backs and right backs did not work at all. I mean, it was just a pointless crossing, and Duncan's goal came about out of a pointless cross from Mikey Holiday. And when I say pointless,
it was a deflected cross.
When I say pointless, I don't mean it in a bad way, because out of the 5 or 6 crosses he did, this one became a goal, and so that's kudos to him. I mean, that shows that his potential as a player. I mean, and he just came back. So imagine him a sharper Mikey Holiday. He will be able to definitely be a force to be reckoned with, like in the beginning of the first few games for Orlando City before he went to the under 20. So I think this is not the end for him, and that's great. And another thing I wanted to say was, the goal came about, and it was just genius from Duncan Mcguire. I mean, he generated his own goal. I mean, just the way he positioned himself over the center backs, like that, just shows his ability of spotting, a gap or a flaw in how they're positioned. New England was positioned badly. He took advantage of that.
And by the way, anybody who says, "Oh, we need Carr on because he's big and tall and he can score headed goals," that is the goal that Carr would score, and
Correct.
Duncan scores those two. So I
Yeah.
don't really think that's like that's what I'm saying. Anything that Carr can do, Duncan can also do, including long range headers that go nicely in the bottom corner.
Yeah, so he went and he just generated his own header, and I mean, I call him Edward Norton, and the whole game was calling him Edward Norton, Earl Jones, whatever his name is.
The
Uh,
landlord.
yeah, he couldn't he didn't. I mean, he just saw it going in pretty much, and I just in a way when he scored, I had like a little bit of a glimmer of hope. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh crap, okay, cool, we're gonna get back in the game. And then when I saw that Juninho came in, and I do want to say, I love the fact that Orlando is actually utilizing the OCB talent, and they're actually really not. They're not looking like rookies. They're looking like seasoned players ready to play. Juninho generated 2 chances in the first few minutes that he started. And I asked Oscar about it too in the post press conference. He's like, yeah, like I'm super proud. Now, why do we bring Juninho and why was Otero there? Because obviously we have players missing, right? And I kind of felt he, in a way, felt the same thing about Felipe at some point. He's like, you know what? Maybe I took a little long with him. Maybe I should have put Juninho sooner. Because I guarantee you, if he would have put Juninho sooner in that position, or I think Orlando either could have tied the game or would have scored sooner. Because Juninho was cutting Carlos's vision in a way. His awareness of being able to distribute that ball. I mean, you have to understand he's the magician of that midfield for New England. When Juninho came in, he's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna let you through, man. Like I'm gonna fight you back." I mean, that's the attitude I got from him,
And they
and
have something to prove too.
right, and that shows kind of where he's coming from, right? He's coming from Brasileirao. He's coming from Brazil, I felt like maybe a little sooner of a sub would have maybe changed some of the dynamic. But overall, I felt like, as I said, at Araujo, I mean, there was really it was a bad game for Orlando. I mean, on the attacking third, in my opinion, I thought it was very ineffective. Um, I mean, there's really nothing more I could say about that. I don't know anything you want to add there, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered most of it, right? The turf and some of the bad performances from some guys who came in. Like, I I thought Felipe would be the guy for this game because he's more defensive, but really maybe Dagger should have got the chance. And I think you're totally right that he should have been brought on earlier.
Yeah, a little
And the
early.
subs did change the game a little bit for us, and we really
Yeah.
started to get into the game. Like the first half, we weren't in the game at all. Really,
Yeah.
we didn't have anything. So the subs made a difference, and that was good to see. And then we started to be a little bit more open, and they punished us. Like that third goal, we only think about that is why are you taking a short corner when your center backs are up, everybody's up, for the fact that you're going to put a ball in the box. So why you take a short corner and then you get caught out on a counter attack because our entire defense is up in the box, right? That doesn't make any sense to me. So that one, I think I'll forgive them, but it wasn't great to see that goal. It looked a very, they just cut us open and then that was it situation.
Yeah, I mean, Juninho looked very confident, very confident, and I will add, Angulo. I mean, against, and that's what I'm saying when our forwards have bigger fishes to fry, right? I mean, you're talking about Bai and the Juan Jones, and those two, man, they had such a great game, and that was, to me, one of the reasons why Orlando lost this game. I mean, you have to praise New England too. I mean, in a way, they know how to play in that pitch, right? And I felt Angulo very uncomfortable running on the pitch. You know what I mean? And when you have one of your key attackers the player that has made the most impact in the attacking third, feeling uncomfortable running, uh, facing two backs that are probably going to be at some point a national team if they're not already. It shows, and it showed in this game. Let's read some
I mean,
comments.
also their goals were really good. Like, let's
Right.
not,
Yeah, I
that's not. We
mean,
weren't beaten by,
right.
some, like, there's two absolute golazos in there with these guys. The one on Santos, I felt for him, and I think Mason on that, like, he couldn't see it until it's too late. Gustavus Bo's goal.
Let's read some comments and then go with Paul. Mr. Santos 7, Mr. J Santos 7. How much better does Ojeda look if he wasn't being robbed all season? There you go. That's a good point. Jim D. That match was a big step up in competition for OC, and it showed. Hopefully Wednesday we can rise to the occasion. Our set pieces are the worst. No, I completely agree. We don't take advantage of set pieces. Miss Francis, Felipe and Kara was especially disappointing. I was happy Kara was subbed out at the half. Felipe should have been subbed out at the half as well. We lack quality in our second and third string. I do believe we have some. I mean, I want to be positive and say that we do have some depth. I mean, we show it with Juninho.
I think it depends in which position, right?
Right, and it just feels like it was a little bit too. We waited too long, in my opinion, right? That to make that move. What if Profe Pareja would have brought him in, Duncan, 15 minutes before? You know what I mean? It could have, given the time. I mean, you can tell the kid had this drive in his eyes. Like, do you see his celebration? I don't know if you guys saw his celebration. I don't know. You saw his celebration, Paula? He was just like, come on, let's go. Let's go. And I love that, man.
No,
I don't know,
celebration. Just straight back to the, let's go. Like, I don't care if I scored. We need two more.
I thought that we were gonna tie at some point.
Yeah.
Like you said, Luis, I thought that we were we're gonna tie. Everything is fine until Heel scored the third goal. I'm like, never mind.
No, Carlos Hill, he has generated 6 of the 9 New England Revolution goals in the last 4 games in the MLS. He has 4 goals by himself, 2 assists. So, I mean, he's, to me, in my opinion, the best midfielder, the best 10 in the league right now.
He's the player we're missing in this team.
Exactly. I was going to say, let's bring him.
If we had a Carlos Gil, I mean, like, I love Mauricio. I think he's done great for us, but clearly this season, his legs are starting to go. So this is why I'm keen to see a replacement in that position sooner rather than later, right? Lefaco's going to play on the wing. We need a 10. I was hoping long term, maybe Dagger Down would get that chance, but he's getting very few chances.
Luis? You have a player in your mind?
No, I was gonna take my wallet out. I'm ready to pitch in. I don't know if they take Apple Card. Take Apple Card.
Well, Messi takes Apple Card for sure.
Okay.
Fanatics too.
I don't know, but I don't know if you guys saw that there's this jersey being leaked for Inter Miami. It's horrible. I'm gonna say this. If I'm Messi, I'm like, yo, I'm not playing on that. I'm not playing. One. It looks like my daughter grabbed a bunch of paint and just went like this on a t-shirt, on a polo, like turquoise polo, like went like this with her fingers. Man, it looks hideous. Why would you want to? That's the first jersey he's gonna put on. Like, come on, man. I mean, well, anyways, and then the whole expansion thing of their stadium. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but hey, it's on them. But we'll talk about that later. But well, the next test for Orlando, it's going to be another tough team, which is Philadelphia, and Philadelphia also comes with some missing players, right? The first one is going to be Andrew Blake. He's going to be with Jamaica, and who's going to replace him as a former Orlando City keeper? Joe Bendick will start against Orlando. Right?
We're going through all the old keepers. That's exactly, like, come on now, Joe Bendick. We forgot about you, but we gotta play you.
So Joe Bendick is going to be their keeper, the starting goalkeeper. Everybody's saying that he's playing really good, that he's actually not. Jim Curtin praised him, saying that he feels confident with him and all of that. Now, Jim Curtin gave according to the info that I got, he gave a he's probably going to do a 3-5-2 lineup. That's how he feels that he's going to do for Orlando. Also, Damian Lowe, he will be out, and as well as Alejandro Bedoya, he's not going to play. So Bedoya is usually must start all the time. I think
Yeah, the captain. Yeah.
he's the captain, right? So they're gonna having some changes there now. We're gonna be playing a better pitch, that's for sure, right? I mean, what can we do to neutralize, in my opinion, this team that is one of the, to me, top of the East, at least one of the few tops of the East, is again staying consistent with the defending. And now that Angulo and Santos and maybe Kyle, because I feel like maybe Kyle, we need Kyle in this game because they have better players in the attacking third. Especially Carranza and all those players. So they need to have an A game. By them having an A game, that's when we're going to start seeing Ojeda cutting through, Angulo cutting through, being a little bit more incisive when it comes to attacking. And then we may have some gaps and some chances. And like Mr. J. Santos, I think he was Jim D, our set pieces. Like, we need to take advantage of that, man. I mean,
Those are free goals right there. I have been saying it.
And we have people that shoot the ball pretty well. Like, we have Ojeda. Like, I don't know what's going on there.
Ojeda missed by a little bit, though. Let's give him, but I need that ball behind that net. So,
how would you assess this upcoming game, John?
I mean, we're still out Pedro, correct?
Yeah,
and we'll still be out Wilder, but we're gonna have Antonio back, and we're gonna have Kyle Smith back. So
yeah,
I think I don't want to say Mason had a bad game. I think it's hard to step in and go away at New England. So I think Mason could have a good game this game. We don't know.
Yeah.
And then really, if that's the case, it's really just Wilder that maybe we're super missing. And I would like to see, it's quite easy. I've written it down here, and they rhyme. It's quite simple. Dagger and dunk. This is what we need. We need dagger and dunk.
Dagger and dunk.
Start Dagger Dan. Start Duncan Mcguire. They're like a duo. Dagger and dunk. That's what I want to see.
It will be good to see Dagger Dan and Duncan Mcguire starting for sure. I mean, what if Gary is a super sub, man, and he actually is better coming as a sub and starts scoring even more goals? It happens. It happens in the best of teams, in the worst of teams.
We saw it in the Tigres game.
Yeah. Some players like Martin Ojeda, for example, he's actually played. I mean, and not to say that he doesn't deserve the starting spot, but the way I saw in this last game, like, he couldn't cut it through like Facu. So, and I don't know if it was a pitch or not, but obviously, he will come as a sub, re-energize them better. Same with Mauricio. I feel like Mauricio too could sometimes take a little break here and there. Now, do we really want to? I also feel like Orlando does better when they score in the first 15-20 minutes of the game. They feel like a little bit more at ease, like they already scored, and they can definitely start maybe getting some protagonism in the ability of play. I don't know what you think about that, John.
I think, well, a few things. One, they're going to want revenge for that 2-1 win that we got at their house. We kind of stole a little bit from them, but also they weren't in full form yet, Philly, at that point in the season. Now they're like the Philly that we expected, that are, pushing to be like second, third in the East and consistently doing well. I mean, they lost last weekend San Jose, but before that they won 4 in a row. So they are a very dangerous team, even without these two players. Even without Andre Blake, they are a very, very dangerous team. And so we haven't really played this good a team at home in a while, right? We've got some home wins against some lower down East teams, but we haven't played at home against a top level team in the East. So I want to go at them. I want to go 100% full attack, but it's going to leave us open and exposed. So we have to kind of be careful, kind of like the Atlanta game, I would say. That's how I would be similar to sort of tactics, right? We know they've got a lot on the attack as well, but we need to be aggressive, right? We can't, this is our house. We're not going to sit back, and try and defend. I don't want to see that, even if it is Philly. And I'm hoping that Oscar won't do that. In terms of the lineup, I mean, we can run through that and see what you guys think. But I think there's different ideas about what we want and what Oscar might actually do.
I mean, I think their mid is pretty good. I mean, Gazdag and Flock and Kai Wagner, they've been pretty good. I guess especially against Orlando. They're not going to be playing with Damian Lowe or Andrew Blake that are there on the screen. So, and Colombian international Bueno will be playing also more than likely there. Glassness is always pretty good. I think since Glassness is going to be in the Angulo range, he needs to take advantage of Glassness' physicality when it comes to marking people. And maybe I have a feeling we're going to get some really good set pieces on the left side of the on the Angulo side. On the 1v1, I feel Glassness, he sometimes is overly physical. That Angulo can definitely take advantage of that. Now we need to take advantage of the set pieces. So I just kind of have a feeling of that. But no one definitely. I'm not downplaying this Philly team at all. I think this Philly team is a very good team. It's going to be a very good test for Orlando City. What are your first thoughts about this upcoming match, Paola, against Philadelphia?
I mean, it's gonna be a test for sure. And I'm looking at the lineup that we did back in March 25th. And it's an interesting one. We play Felipe in the midfield. We didn't play Antonio Carlos because he was injured by that time. Enrique started at that time as well because Cara was injured. So right. I'm gonna go with what John said. I'm gonna go with Dagger Dan. I don't know. I'm gonna ask you guys, why do you, by any chance, do you know why Oscar Pareja, and I know that you don't are not mind readers, but why Oscar doesn't give more chances to Dagger Dan starting, right, in the start lineup? Because he has proved that he can mark people, right? And I think Felipe didn't mark any people on the last game. So I think
you're right on that.
so
he had like zero tackles.
Yeah,
right?
I checked it on several his sites. He had zero tackles.
And Araujo
again,
can't be by himself. So that's my question.
Also, with Kyle Smith back doing his inverted fullback situation, he helps there too. So you can definitely get away with that. Like I think Dagger, he's a box to box player, right? He's played defender. Like I know he's not played defender in MLS, like he's played defender in Iceland, but the guy's played left back and right back, and for his club, he's fine in defensive midfield. I'm with you, Paula. I think it's one of those things where Oscar, for some reason, doesn't quite believe in Dagger. I don't know. Dagger hasn't shown Oscar enough for him to be like, yes.
I maybe feel that there has to be some games that he plays without Mauricio starting. And I kind of feel like he maybe feels like Mauricio is like, you have to start him no matter what. So you got to play with a number 10 to create, right? And yes, in a way, I do understand in certain games, like for example, at home, where you have to actually, you know what I mean? you know, you're gonna set the, you're gonna set the counters, you're gonna set the, the tactics, right, to win the game at home. I kind of understand why, that. But when you're playing away and you're playing against a team that is a top contender in the East, against three players that we've played against them before, that they're very dangerous, like Gazdak, Flock, Wagner, especially them on set pieces too. I think they're one of the best teams in set pieces in the MLS. Right? You need, like, call me defensive and park the bus, but I'll play with three defensive midfielders. I would not play with a 10 because I will play off the counter with my wingers. Like, I will play with Ojeda and Angulo, and then I'll have Kyle and Santos. Like, I will play with that. You know,
That was
And
kind of
Lucas
my
too? No?
hmm?
Petrazo as well? Or not
Well,
really?
I don't know if Petrasso is ready. You know,
dude.
Hmm.
They really
right?
undersold that injury or something because he's been out for like so. I
Yeah,
mean, like I know
no,
he came back and played OCB, but I just wish
yeah,
sometimes they'd be a bit more like open and say,
Open,
hey,
yeah.
it's gonna be a few months, or instead of just leaving us in the dark and we wonder what's happening with that player.
yeah. But I mean, Petrasso, he did play on the 2-1
Like two
win,
minutes.
Orlando win. Yeah, but I feel like it's definitely going to be Santos. But again, Santos and Angulo have made it so far a good pairing, except at this last game because they played in a crappy field,
Let's say the turf.
and I also they play against top level competition too, and it just was not a good game for them. Let's just say it that way. I just think with Philly, we need to play a little bit more conservative, in my opinion, because they got Flock and Gazdag, and Gazdag has been actually very good for them. And Kai Wagner actually, he's a win back pretty much. He's pretty good, and he's a speedster, has good crossing ability. I mean, he's definitely a threat. Um, and so we cannot be very like I mean, we're definitely going to attack, but I rather, if you give me Dagger and you give me Araujo, and then maybe you give me Ramiro Enrique, or maybe even Mauricio, I'll play with two defensive midfielders in this game.
I
You
mean
know,
that like sort of 4-3-3. I think with
right?
Araujo a little bit deeper, and then you
Hmm.
could play like Dagger down and Mauricio both as like eights in front of Araujo as a six, right? That would give you a bit more solidity, and you could still go forward with the attack when you wanted to, or even play Felipe, Dagger, and Araujo. Go for three of them, like you're saying. I mean, I'm not sure whether Oscar wants to move away from the 4-2-3-1. I think he's found that this
He's
is
set on
working
that.
for him and
Yeah,
he's set
I
on that. He
feel. I
likes
feel you.
I think that's the only reason we're not going to see that, right? And I think that Dagger Dan is, if you're going to play the double pivot, like we said, we didn't see it from Felipe. So the chance is there for Dagger to get that second role next to Arujo. Like who else? Like Juninho, maybe. I mean, that would be amazing
Yeah,
if Juninho
Juninho.
got the
I
start,
mean,
but I
yeah,
don't see it happening.
yeah, I don't see
Um,
Juninho getting the start. That's
but
for
yeah, I
sure.
mean, in terms of defensive midfielders, those are your options, right? We're not heavy in the midfield. I would say if anywhere, like I said, we need to bring someone in, attacking midfield or defensive midfield. We're perhaps a little light there, um, with someone who can step up and replace Wilder for sure.
That's right. Anything you want to add, Paola, for this game?
No, we need our regulars back. I'm just kidding. We need Wilder back. When he's coming back.
Well,
In fact,
We
well,
said
the
he's
play.
gonna.
Listen to what I have to do today. You guys probably are wondering. So after this show, I'm starting my Spanish pod right after,
okay.
and then because I have to wake up at 4 in the morning,
Where are you
because
going?
Peru
The
plays
Peru
against
game.
Japan.
Oh,
Yeah,
Japan.
and so my other channel is doing
A
the.
watch
I'm,
party.
I'm I'm doing commentary, and then
Goal.
the post game. Yeah. So and then after that, I gotta work at 10 o'clock.
Are you screaming goal at 4 a.m.?
Yeah. So imagine that. So
That would be
that's
epic.
why I'm ending the night early because it's it's gonna be a big it's the last game before the qualifiers. This is the last friendly match that Pedro's gonna have and Wilder is gonna have before the qualifiers, right? So it's a big deal facing Japan, and I guess
Hey,
Ku was gonna be playing, and all the big names are gonna be playing. So it's quite a big competition. But yeah, that's what my day is shaping to be the next few hours.
But Pedro, we talked about is going to drag Wilder on the plane to
oh
Seattle, right?
yeah,
We
by the ear
anticipate, yeah, we anticipate both of them
in
being
Seattle.
quickly returning to Seattle, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, this is the thing, and I was completely against at these two friendlies being in Asia. There is a big controversy about these two games. The usual person in charge of setting the friendlies up was not in charge of doing these two friendlies. Um, they bypassed them. The federation bypassed his own guy, and then the president of the federation booked this to himself and pretty much told everybody, "No, you got to go to Asia." And so they were looking for friendlies in North America. They wanted to play maybe El Salvador, Honduras, and things like that, but they are traveling now across country to that and the jet lag and all of that. So
I
we'll
mean, I think
see.
it's more on MLS for
Exactly.
me. Like, why are we doing this? Stop. There's no
Yeah.
need. We don't need to
There's
be
no need.
like if the whole world is on an international break
Exactly.
and you want to
Yeah.
be part of the soccer world, then
Yeah.
also be on an international break. There's a reason that every country does this. Like, and it's kind of one of those, now we're in the Messi era, right?
Right.
Can we get rid of stuff, MLS, like turf fields and playing during, international
Please.
breaks where the rest of the world is not? Like these are things that other countries look at our league and they go, "Well, that's stupid," and we're like, "Yeah, I mean, I think for me the turf one is I've never understood that. Like, I think it should be banned. I don't think you should be allowed. And anybody in New England who thinks they're going to see Messi is sort of disappointed. Like, these top players are not going to go play on turf. They won't do it.
And after Philly faces us, they face Miami, right? And I do want to say, before we talk about Jim Curtin and the national team, um, this is false advertising, man. Like, come on, guys. I know you guys are very excited about Messi coming. Me too. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Wait, is
happy,
that the
but
club's official graphic? Where did you get this from?
no, this is from I think it's fan made because
Okay, it looks very
Beckham
fan made. I would be
Back
embarrassed if that was made
Beckham,
by the
like
club.
really Beckham? Like is the Beckham gonna Beckham gonna play? You know what I mean?
I'm
So
shaking
it's a
my head.
right. But anyways, Philadelphia coach Jim Curtin, which to me is one of the top coaches in the MLS, spoke about not only Orlando City, saying that they respect Orlando, that yeah, they're missing key players, or they're missing key players too. And aside of all of that, they talked about the national team. And he was saying, that he was never asked to fill in the shoes, even though Onyewu said on national TV that they interviewed like top candidates from all over the world. Um, he also mentioned that he was never contacted for a job with the national team, but he feels like football in the United States, or soccer in the United States, is growing tremendously, especially with the academies. And he cited three academies: cited Philly's academy, cited Orlando's academy, right, and the importance of the academies in and the New England's academy as well. So, and actually, all of them three are doing very well. Um, in Orlando, for example, they're going to a quarterfinals. Orlando quarterfinals bound. under 17s. They just defeated Charlotte in penalty kicks with amazing goalkeeper Zachary Campagnolo. Really bright future. Definitely, to me, he's going to be in the national team at some point. And this is what the future holds for the United States as a soccer nation. And then, I don't know if you guys saw it this weekend, but the U.S. became the back-to-back Nations League champions. There's a new king in North America, and it wears red, white, and blue. And I'm very disappointed on the little draw that Mexico had after that whole debacle. I wanted you guys' opinion on how you feel about the whole stuff. Let's dive in a little bit about the national team. I will say I think there's big things coming. I just don't know if Berhalter bringing him back, it's a big step in that direction. In my opinion, I think they should have looked somewhere else. Maybe even Jim Curtin would have been a great option. But I don't know. What are your thoughts there, John, in this championship?
I mean, also, it's great that we won the Nations League again, That's what we want.
Can hear you.
I'm not muted, I don't think.
I can hear him. I can hear you.
Was it me?
It's Luis. You're
It's
throwing me
Luis.
off, bro.
Luis, it's you. Just keep
muted
talking, John.
Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy. Basically, yeah, I think it's also that we won the CONCACAF again, and we're obviously very dominant in North America, which is great. But the U.S. they have to prove themselves against, other nations, right? World Cup, we got to get past we got to get past the round of 32 and the round of 16. So what we saw from Greg Berhalter in the last World Cup wasn't particularly, in my opinion, amazing. So yeah, I just think why did we fire him and then look for 6 months just to hire him back? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And the fact that you got people like Jim Curtin being like, yeah, no one ever asked me. I'm like, are you for real that no one ever went to Jim Curtin and said, hey, do you want to be not only that, they were talking about all these candidates they looked at and, not just American candidates, right? Like the U.S. has the same problem that my awesome nation of England has, where we feel the need to hire a coach from our country. You don't need to do that. That's not in the rules. You don't have to do that at all. We could have gone and got anybody, other famous coaches that have European experience, World Cup winning experience that were available in the market. And we just went back to Greg and what, why? He wasn't that great. There was all the controversy that happened with Reina and everything else. So why go back to something that's already been tainted and we already know what it is? To be honest, I think Hudson was doing a better job when he came in and they let him go. Didn't have any chance of keeping him, and this ridiculousness of BJ being brought in temporarily was obviously just to fill the gap until they brought Greg back. And it's just well, what is this clown show of managers that you've got going on? What? It's embarrassing that the U.S. soccer spent 6 months to find the guy they fired. That in itself is everything that is wrong with U.S. soccer. No, I have no time for it. Obviously, I'm going to support, follow the boys, but for me, you basically just said, the 26th World Cup is going to be the same as the last World Cup. I don't see Greg having the acumen and the intelligence and the tactical knowledge to get the best out of this squad. Personally, I don't think he's able to do that.
And I want to add, personally, I believe he should have not gotten the job back at all. And I feel like the United States, I don't know about all the things, they have the final piece in the puzzle now, after Josh Sargent and maybe Ricardo Pepi, the whole debacle for the last World Cup. The final piece in the puzzle is this guy right here, which started as a meme, right? It started as a whole meme machine, right? I want to say hello
Started in
to
Orlando when he came to visit, and
right.
we let the world know that he was here.
I want to congratulate whoever said that. But I mean, he looks like he fits the system. He feels comfortable playing. He's scoring goals. I'm wondering which club is gonna get him. I feel like a Premier League club is easily gonna get him. He's not gonna stay to play in that club in France for that much longer.
I could see a
So
promoted club to the
yeah,
Premier League going after him as their main striker.
yeah, Brentford. Like well promoted club. I just feel like I mean this kid's like fantastic. I mean it was just really good game. And I don't know what were your thoughts, Paula, regarding the national team against
I mean, I'm with John and with you. After I was talking to Alec, I'm like, can you imagine they did successfully one with Mexico? They win super comfy. They win super comfy with Canada because they were a headache before when Greg was there. They were not winning comfortably like before. And then he's coming back. I wouldn't not hire him back. Like all this drama again, and then when the reporters, I think it was Pepe, he was being interviewed, and the reporter asked him, "Hey, breaking news, he's coming back." He avoid just the question. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, it is what it is. I think they're just gonna play because it's Team USA. I don't know. Is gonna hurt the team. Hopefully not. I'm gonna just support because it's just the team. I wouldn't go with this option, but I don't know why they did it. I don't know if it's because of the all the drama and then he proved them wrong or something. I don't know. It just looks bad.
Some people seem to think there's like a legal thing here,
A
but
legal thing and he
that's
can
ridiculous.
sue.
Like, nah. In the world of soccer, you just fire
no,
the guy. You don't have to justify why you fire a coach. Like,
It looks
you know what
just
I
bad.
mean? Yeah.
right. And not only that, like what Mexico did, it was just ridiculous too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
come on, man. I mean, first and foremost, the whole fight, and I understand like Serginho also reacted, but I mean, but then it's just the fans are upset, and with all due respect, I think I agree with them in a way because they feel like all their life they've been this. I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. Hegemony or like this winning streak of Mexico being the kings of CONCACAF, right? And now here comes the United States, and they've been owning them the past the past few years. And now actually soccer in America is growing tremendously in the youth level, and in Mexico is the other way around. They're not putting their 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds to play professionally at a right time. And that's bad, and then the very volatile people. They hired this gentleman Diego Coca. He came with a back-to-back championships with Atlas, I think, and they fired him like nothing. Like now they have no coach, and they just hired the dude like a few a few months ago. So it could be worse for us, right? But I truly feel that I know these players that had just won League's Cup, and I'm gonna show you the. I mean, this is tremendous.
But
I
this is the
mean,
thing, the squad is better than ever. And that's what
yeah.
annoys me the most about
Look,
this Greg
look.
situation is like you've got we've got the best squad we've ever had, in my opinion, for the US. Like they're top level talents playing in top teams all across Europe and in MLS, and yet Greg is the guy you choose to
Exactly.
lead them. Like, no, not the
Now,
choice.
look at the ages. Like Walker Zimmerman, 30 years old for a center back. That's young. But the rest of the team is it's like under 23 almost. 25, 24, 26, 22. Like they have for at least 3 more World Cups.
And most of our best players, in my
Yeah,
opinion, are like 2021.
exactly. And now, you know, I feel like a lot of these players, like Gio, Jonas Munsa, Timothy Weah, Balogun, Pepe, Weston, Luca, Christian, all those guys, Brendan Aronson, they're going to be sought after by high level teams and top teams, top clubs. How is Berhalter gonna manage that locker room when, let's say, the elephant in the room, Captain America, right here, this guy, he's right now being rumored for FC Barcelona. There's, obviously smoke, but let's say a big club lands him. I don't know, Milan or Inter Milan, right? How are you gonna manage a club with that star-studded club? I mean, you know what I mean? And I just feel like there's coaches that are going to get you to a certain level, and then there are coaches that are just going to make you stagnant and you're just going to stay like this. And I feel the United States has potential, and I feel it because of the players. I feel they're going to be playing Copa America 2024. Everyone in South America is down playing the US. Oh no, Peru can beat them. Venezuela can beat them. I'm like, bro,
Uh,
you
I think
sleeping.
we saw what he had to offer
Yeah.
in the World Cup, right? So
Oh yeah.
unless it's like going to be a revolution, like, unless this whole thing with Gio was the issue and that's why it wasn't really that amazing, I don't know. But they did okay. Like you said, like he's going to get them to a max, right? And with Greg, I think we've seen the max. With somebody else, we could potentially see the even higher level, but we just don't know if that's going to be an option if you hire the same guy again.
Is me or they were playing better?
Yeah, they were playing better.
Yeah, they
opinion.
seem to be freer under
And
the. It's like they
Gio,
don't need a coach.
Yeah.
Just we don't need a head coach. Just have a GM. That's fine.
and Gio had 2 assists.
Yeah, they were playing better.
And poor kid already had an injury. He's an injury prone.
Yeah,
But
they were playing much better. You know, I'm just laughing here because what I just saw online.
I mean, we can spend the next 10 hours talking about
talking about that,
this,
John,
but
I thought that it was me. And I thought I
no,
told Alec,
no, I
I'm
think
like,
there's
can
I
you
think it's divided.
imagine? Can
Some
you
people think it's a
imagine
good idea.
they bring back Greg, right? And they suck. And then this guy, the interim coach, I don't know who it is, like they score more, they're playing freely, they're playing better. I don't know. I thought about that last night. So
And we do want to say that there's another guy that has mentioned after Messi's arrival into Inter Miami. John's gonna laugh when I put this on. He's about to laugh.
BUS.
And I'm saying, look, I'm ready to pitch in some money right here to get this guy. It's a dream of mine.
Oh, he always talked about coming
It's a
here.
Mario. That's Italian.
Greasy Griezmann.
Antoine Griezmann.
That's what I call him.
He can go to
French greasy Griezmann.
eat some crepes. Right?
Hey, we have Epcot. We have friends here.
That's right.
Is he even good anymore? Let's be
I don't
honest.
know.
If he comes to MLS, is he actually going to be able to cut it up?
This seems like kind of like an Orlando signing.
He is.
In a way. Think about it.
I think it's more of like a St. Louis
Like
kind of
Austin.
signing. Yeah. Griezmann is one of these players
Like
that
a
everybody
Chicago Fire.
like everybody he got overhyped, and like a lot of people thought like, oh my god, Antoine Griezmann. Like there was a period when he was really good, but like it wasn't that long.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's one of those players that
Like when he
people
went to
oversell.
Barcelona and he was.
Yeah, like he's playing with great players around him, but was he ever the star? Not really.
No, he's not coming here. He's a winger, right? He's a
Yeah, I
winger?
mean he's a winger slash.
But
he
he'd
could
be
play-
more of a
he could
10
play-
now.
Yeah,
I'd
he
say.
could-
Like
yeah.
he's smart enough to play the 10.
Is that the 10 that we need?
No, thank you.
No, I would rather get Carlos Hill. I'll pay top dollar for Carlos Hill. Yeah, I know. We we just need a Florian Ball again, man. We need a Florian.
We have Duncan. We don't need Florian, man.
Right, there you
Duncan
go.
is our Florian.
Let's give Duncan a chance. I do feel like we should definitely give Duncan a chance. Let's just do the lineup before we close for the game
Let's
against Philly.
do it.
Um, I do feel that this game against Philly, we should definitely maybe make some changes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm with
and I
you.
think that I'm on board. I'm on the Duncan train now, like you, John. So I'm gonna go here. So I guess here we have Mason, right? Um, Unless we feel froggy and put Grinny
Otero.
or Otero.
Otero in the League's Cup. I'm all about that. Come on.
Yeah,
Greenwist
Otero
is
go in the League's
injured,
Cup.
so
there you go. Look, there's a guy right there. All right, so we get AC back. We got Jensen.
Jensen.
I don't think Schlegel had a particularly bad game. I gotta say, like usually
No,
I would be like criticizing Schlegel because I'm not his biggest fan, but I don't. It wasn't really. I didn't see him make massive errors.
he
I
wasn't.
agree.
I like eyeballing, like eye watching, like he usually does.
You watch him like a hawk every game, Paula.
Hey, it's the truth. I like the guy, but this time it was Felipe.
Now here's the look. So here's Araujo. Now, who would you play next to Araujo?
Dagger Dan, dagger Dan,
I would
dagger
say
Dan.
personally, I think Dagger Dan.
He's the man.
I also second that. I think it'll be great to see
Something different.
Dan right there. And then here I think we're not. I think Mauricio is going to be the 10.
Mauricio, yeah.
This is what I'm saying is we don't actually have another 10. Like unless you want to play Faku there, obviously
Right.
this game we
Or
can't. Like
Ojeda, you could play it there too. But then who you playing? Your right?
I've not been wowed with Ojeda the 10.
Yeah,
No, me neither.
I'm
Me
not sure
neither.
if that's. I feel like he's struggling to acclimatize to MLS. Like let's just leave him on the wing where he knows what he wants
So
to do.
Ojeda, then Angulo, right?
Angulo and Duncan.
And then now, based on the performance and the way he played, every time he's come on, I feel like for this game at least, in which we're gonna need more presence out mid, and Mauricio can maybe take the luxury to command the attack like always he does, and maybe not mark as much. Duncan can take also more of a back and forth defensive role, switching with him, here and there, helping out, closing some gaps because you have Flock, you have Gazdag, you have also pretty dynamic players. I think Dagger Dan will be the best choice. That's just my opinion. I feel like Kara could come as a sub, and maybe he has more of an impact as a sub, right, John? I mean, he's done that before.
Hey, I'm not, I don't think Carr is a bad player. I just think I don't see the desire there. I don't like Duncan comes on the field and runs and gives you everything. Carra's
a big guy.
I get it, but like big guys could run. Like,
I know.
I know.
Look at Ronaldo,
what you're saying about the press from the front. Like Duncan presses from the front. He won the ball back a couple times. Like he's willing to put that effort in.
Yeah.
And I think obviously his numbers are better, because like he's had less time, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, but if you start Duncan, is he actually going to produce the same way he does off the bench? Well, the only way to find that out is to give him the shot at the start, right? So for me,
like
I
Felipe,
think
not Felipe. I'm sorry.
It's been 4 games and Carr hasn't scored. I think only in MLS where you have DPs. If this was the Premier League and your top striker hadn't scored in 4 games and you had a very good star striker, star young guy ready to take his spot, that no one would blink an eye. It's just because he's a DP that people think, oh, therefore, give him more time, give him more chances. But for me, it's the opposite. It's like you are the highest paid player on the field. you should be producing, you should be scoring a goal. Not every game, but you can't have 4 games where you don't score. Like that inconsistency from Kara is not what we want from a DP striker, right? You're not spending the most money on the guy to have him score some goals, like maybe 10. We need 20, we need 15 goals at least a year out of this guy. And right now it's not on track for that.
True, I agree. I feel like Duncan should get the start for this game. Again, think he could give us more attack and defend. And we can definitely take advantage of that. And then maybe if Orlando, let's say, is up, 1-0, minute 85, right? And if you feel froggy, which I feel like Oscar is going to play way more conservative at that point, you can feel free to play with 2 strikers and then kind of put Duncan more of like like a 4. It still be a 4-2. It would be 4-2-1-1 in a way, right? With two nines, right?
Here's a question for you. And a lot of people have said that they want to see Duncan and Kara in some kind of 2 up top combo.
Yeah.
I don't think Oscar will ever do it, but is that something you guys would like to see? And if so, like how would you think we could make that happen?
Well, I mean, we could do it with I will say like this, like Duncan here, and then Kara right up top, and when Duncan's gonna have two roles, which will be attack and defend. He will have to be more of like a 10. Now, it would be easier to play this way with Facu because Facu could have more freedom in the middle. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe Kara would benefit from having another striker
Yeah,
alongside him, like a classic big man, little man situation.
right.
A lot of people think that he's the kind of guy that does better in a 2 striker formation. I don't know if we're ever going to see that, or you know if it works.
Right. So, I mean, there are teams that never play with 2 strikers. Like for example, the Peruvian national team, for years, people have been wanting them to play when Claudio Pizarro used to play. Like Pizarro and Guerrero should play right up top, your 2 best strikers. And they will cancel each other. You either play a game with Pizarro or play with Guerrero. Same as now with Lapadula and Guerrero. You either play they can only do a 4-2-3-1 formation with a straight number 9 up top. There are teams like that sometimes. So I just feel like this is the way Orlando's going to line up against Philadelphia. I don't know what you guys think.
I think that could be what Oscar does.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I think usually we're like, "Hey, here's our lineup, and here's what we think Oscar." Like, it could be the same this week.
Yeah, it could be Dan for Felipe, but then the same players. Hopefully Duncan's starting. So, but anyways, any last thoughts, guys, before we close? Paola, anything you want to add?
Hopefully we won. And in my Spanish channel, Tiro de Esquina, last week we didn't record an episode because I was in a convention, but we interviewed Miguel Gallardo. So go watch that episode. It's super epic. We asked him a bunch of funny questions and he answered us. He told us a bunch of stories that we didn't know. Tomorrow we're gonna release a new episode for this week. So watch us and vamos Orlando. Hopefully we win this Wednesday against Philly. So yeah, and happy to be back with y'all.
Okay. So you want me to say this? Would you just send me, John?
Yeah, I mean, we could put that out.
Yeah.
Lots
So
of people are coming in, so
yeah. So we're we're asking everybody to join our Facebook group. Um, we're putting it on the comments right here. So you guys are able to just click on the link and join. We just talk about OCSC, and pride, and we just like to keep the conversation going, right? So
yeah, I mean, it's lots of people in there. It's a growing community. You're able to post what you want, talk with others. It's very civil. We keep it, we don't allow people to be rude to each other. So it's a good community. We haven't got Luis at the moment, but he's gonna try to
Yeah,
figure out a way to get him
yeah.
back into our community.
I already got my profile back. No, no, not
Well,
that
that's
one,
good.
but I already got my profile. Yeah,
Okay, that's
a
good.
new
We can
one.
get you back in there. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a Wednesday night game. Hopefully, the attendance isn't too rough. Those are always hard for us. Paula, are you going to this one?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. I'm assuming no tailgate this week, right? Too hard
No,
of a
my
thing. It's probably gonna rain
word.
anyway.
It's
This
probably gonna
time of
rain,
year.
but I can meet you before.
All right. Well, I will be going, of course, and potentially, Louise, are we doing another show on Thursday?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna be live on Thursday. If you guys wanna do one, I'm down. So we'll do one on Thursday, same time. Um, we're gonna preview the Seattle Sounders the game against the Sounders. Right, very good team. A lot of players in the top form, like Joe Pablo, and then also Raul Ruiz. La Pulga. The Atomic, the Ant Man. Right, Peruvian Ant Man. Right. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining Loud and Proud Orlando today. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys on Thursday. And vamos Orlando. Take care, guys.
Vamos,
Vamos,
Orlando.
Orlando. Let's go.
Vamos Orlando. Let's go.